Good morning everyone. So now we are going to report or discuss the Module 6 entitled Teaching with Contrived Experiences, Teaching with Dramatized Experiences, together with Hazel Amaral Macauyag, Jamira Liwa, by Lina Laun, by Rasma Muhammad, Asmin Dirampatin, and by Mira Idris. By the way, we are the Group 6, but first, let me introduce myself. I am Johanna Sisaban, the first reporter on this topic. Objectives. At the end of this module, students should be able to 1. Explain the meaning of contrived experiences. 2. Use examples of contrived experiences in lesson development. And 3. Show how dramatized experiences can be used effectively in the teaching-learning process. Okay, so according to Edgar Dale once said, we teach through a rearrangement of the raw reality, a specimen, a manageable sample of a whole, when the direct experience cannot be used properly in its natural. If for one reason or one another, we cannot employ direct experiences as materials for instruction. So let us make use of an edited version of direct experiences, and that is the contrived experiences. So what are contrived experiences? These are edited copies of reality and are used as substitute for real things when it is not practical or not possible to bring or to do the real thing in the classroom. It is designed to simulate the real life situations. So basically, in the teacher, they usually bring some printing materials and pictures in order to replace the reality. Also, it is the things that they cannot bring it inside the classrooms, so they are doing that in a contrived way. So, referring to contrived experiences, these are edited copies of reality and are used as substitute, meaning to say, they play as a substitute for the real things. So, we cannot bring the planet inside the classroom. So, isa sa mga ways is to print pictures that we can even bring a map, a globe, in order to make things into reality, even without bringing real things inside a classroom. So that is, we are talking about learning of contrived experiences. So now we have 6 different kinds of contrived experiences, such as models, mock-up, specimen, objects, simulation, and games. So now let us know each of them one by one. First is models. Is a reproduction of a real thing in a small scale or large scale or exact size but made of synthetic materials. It is substitute for a real thing which may or may not be operational. So when we talk models, it is a reproduction of a real thing in a small scale or large scale. So there are things that they bring in the classrooms. It is made actually by synthetic materials. If we cannot bring the world different places inside the classrooms, therefore what we did is to bring a map and a globe in order to let the learners learn and show to the learners what it looks like. The example of it is an atom. So we cannot bring an atom in the classroom. Instead, what we're going to do is we will bring the models to make things or to substitute the real things. So next is mock-up. Is an arrangement of a real device or associated devices displayed in such a way that representation of reality is created. The mock-up may be simplified in order to emphasize certain features. It may be an economical reproduction of a complicated or costly devices to be observed for learning purposes. Usually, it is a prepared substitute for a real thing. Sometimes it is a giant enlargement. So, when we talk mock-ups, it is an arrangement of real device or associated devices displayed in simplified order. So, it is actually sequence or gradually showing a series of something. So, next we have specimen is any individual or item considered typical of a group, class, or whole. This type of contrived experiences is related to science. This is sometimes the discussion fall onto the learning about the cell of a plant, animal cell, so it also make use of those inside the classroom an example. So, for using specimen that show to the students that these are the real thing that actually they can also learn without seeing the real one, but using specimen that would substitute the real things. Therefore, specimen are usually used by mostly in a science teacher or those doing experiment.
An object may also include artifact display in a museum or object display in exhibit or preserve insect specimen in science. Ang isang bagay ay maaaring din magsama ang mga artifact na ipinapakita sa isang museo o mga bagay na ipinapakita nila sa mga exhibit o napreserbahang mga specimen ng insekto sa mga agham. Simulation is a representation of manageable real event in which the learner is an active participant engaged in learning a behavior or in applying previously acquired skills or knowledge or Leach et al. 1994. So, ang simulation ay isang representasyon ng isang napapamahalaang tunay na kaganapan kung saan ang mga mag-aaral ay isang aktibong kalahok na nakikibahagi sa mga mag-aaral ng isang pag-uugali o sa paglalapat ng dati ng nakuhang mga kasanayan o kaalaman. Orlich et al. 1994. Another instructional material include contrived experience is game is there are difference between a game in a simulation. Games are played to win, while simulation need not have a winner. Simulations seem to be more easily applied to the study of issues rather than to process. Ang isa pang material sa pagtuturo na may kasamang mga gawang karanasan ay ang laro. Mayroon bang pagkakaiba sa pagitan ng isang laro at isang simulation? Ang mga laro ay nilalaro upang manalo habang ang mga simulation ay hindi kailangan magkaroon ng panalo. Ang mga simulation ay tila mas madaling ilapat sa pag-aaral ng mga issue kaysa sa mga proseso. Why do we make use of contrived experience? We use models, mock-ups, specimens, and object 2. Number 1, overcome limitation of space and time. Number 2, to edit reality for use to be able to focus on parts or a process of a system that we intend to study. Number 3, to overcome difficulties of size. Number 4, to understand the inaccessible. 5, help the learners understand abstractions. So, bakit natin ginagamit ang mga gawa-gawang karanasan? So, gumamit kami ng mga modelo gaya ng mock-ups, specimen at bagay. Number 1 is malampasan ang mga limitasyon ng espasyo at oras. Number 2, para i-edit ang realidad para magamit upang makapag-focus sa mga bahagi o proseso ng isang sistema na balak natin pag-aralan. Number 3 is upang malampasan ang mga paghihirap ng mga tao. Number 4 is upang maunawaan ang hindi naa-access. Number 5 is tulungan ang mga mag-aaral na maunawaan ang mga abstraction.
Good day, especially to my classmates and sir. I am Jamera Macauliwa from B.Ed 1A, one of the reporters in Module 6. So the topic that was assigned to me is the 10 general purposes of simulations in games in education. Number 1. To develop changes in attitude. Number 2. To change specific behaviors. Number 3. To prepare participants for assuming new rules in the future. Number 4. To help individuals understand their current rules. Number 5. To increase the students' ability to apply principles. Number 6. To reduce complex problems or situation to manageable elements. Number 7. To illustrate rules that may affect one's life, but the one may never assume. Number 8. To motivate learners. Number 9. To develop analytical process. Number 10. To sensitize individuals to another person's life rule. To develop changes in attitudes or makabuo ng pagbabago sa ating ugali. Number 2. To change specific behaviors or ito yung pagbabago sa ating tiyak na pag-uugali. Number 3. To prepare participants for assuming new rules in the future. Ito naman is para ihanda ang mga participant kung mag-ipagpalagay nila ang kanilang bagong rule o papel sa hinaharap. Number 4. To help individuals understand their current rules. Or ito yung makatulong sa bawat isa na maintindihan ang kanilang kasulukuyang papel. Number 5. To increase the students' ability to apply principles upang madagdagan ang kakayahan ng mga estudyante na gamitin ang kanilang prinsipyo. Number 6. To reduce complex problems or situation to manageable elements. Ito para mabawasan ng mga mahirap unawain na problema o sitwasyon at mapamahalaan ito. Number 7. To illustrate rules that may affect one's life but that one may never assume. Ito yung paglalarawan ng isang buhay na pwedeng maapektuhan pero ito yung hindi dapat nating ipagpalagay o i-assume. Number 8. To motivate learners. Ito naman is yung pag-uudyok sa isang mag-aaral. Number 9. To develop analytical process. Upang mabuo o bumuo ng isang pagsusuri o proseso. Number 10. To sensitize individuals to another person's life rule. Ito naman is sa synthesize or sensitive individuals sa isa pang buhay o papel ng isang tao. So why is it important to use simulations in games is to make the classes interactive and develop the decision-making skills and knowledge and construction skills of the students. Or in Filipino, mahalagang ginagamit ang simulation at laro upang gawing interactive ang klase at para bumuo ng mga kasanayan sa pagbuo ng kaalaman ng mga mag-aaral.
Good day, sir. I am Muhammad Barasmasi from BED 1A. Okay, so this is the continuation of guide, question, and evaluating contrived experience. So ito yung mga gabay na tanong sa pagsusuri ng karanasan. So if it is workable with it stand up under frequent use. So kung ito ay isang magagawa, ito ba ay tatayo sa ilalim ng madalas na paggamit? Okay, so para sa akin, opo. Kasi po, kung ano yung naranasan natin sa buhay, madalas yun din yung kinukuha natin gabay sa ating sa ating mga sarili. Number 2, if it is to be made by students, is the model likely to be worth the time, effort, and the money involved? Okay, kung ito ay gagawin ng mag-aaral, ang modelo ba ay malamang nakatumbas ng pagod sa oras at halagang kasangkot? Okay, so may posible po na ang modelo ay malamang na katumbas din. Kasi po, ang modelo ay isang pagpaparami ng isang tunay na bagay. 3. If it is purchased, well, the model used often enough to justify its cost. Kung ito ay binili, madalas bang gagamitin ang modelo upang bigyang katwiran ang gastos nito? So, opo. Number 4, will the models acts the stimulus to further learning? So, magsisilbi ang modelo sa bilang isang pampasigla, karagdagang pag-aaral. Sa number 5, does the stimulated procedure reduce the amount of instruction required to master the desired skills, attitude, and information? So, binabawasan ba ng stimulated produce ang dami ng pagtuturo na kinakailangan upang makabisado ang mga kasanayan sa pagnanais na saloobin at impormasyon. Contrived experience are substitute of real things when it is not feasible to bring the real things to the class. These include models, mock-ups, specimens, objects, simulations, and games. The most important thing to remember when we make the models and mock-ups are to make them as close as we can to the real things they represent. If for one reason or another they could not replicate the real things, size, and color, we should at least caution the user or the reader by giving the skill. So, ang mga gawa-gawang karanasan ay mga kapalit na mga tunay na bagay sa isang tunay na bagay, which is hindi magagawang dalhin ang tunay na bagay sa klase. Kabilang narito ang models, mock-ups, specimen objects, simulations, and games. Ang mga ito ay kabilang sa gawa-gawang karanasan na ating nai-experience sa buhay. Ang pinaka-importanting bagay na ating palaging remember when we make use of models and mock-ups are to make them as close na maaaring ang bagay na yon they represent the real things. Kung ang isang dahilan or another they could replicate to the real things like size, color, we should at least caution na maaaring gamitin sa pagbabasa by giving the scale.
Good day everyone, I'm Hazel Amora P. Macauyag and I'm going to tackle the lesson 2 of module 6. Sometimes dramatic is something that is stirring or affecting or moving. It happens suddenly and it's very noticeable and surprising. So by in this, a dramatic entrance is something that catches and holds our attention and has an emotional impact. So dramatized experiences can range from the formal plays, pageants, to less formal tableau, pantomime, puppets, and role-playing. So first is plays. Plays depicts life, character, or culture, or a combination of all three. Ito yung pag-a-act or pagpuportray sa mga importanteng detalye ng buhay at kung ano-ano pa. So next is pageants. Pageants are usually community dramas that are based on local history, presented by local actors. Ito yung mga ginaganap sa mga barrios. It is a drama that act by local artists. They do act based on history. So actually, ito yung mga nakikita natin sa fiesta, yung may mga tao na sumasali sa paligsahan to act. So ang ginagawa nila is they're doing pageant drama. Next is pantomime. It is the art conveying a story through bodily movements only. It affects audience depends on the movement of the actors. Actually, it is a silent cinema or entertainment. It is to entertain people, especially the children, even there is no sounds. So next by this is tableau, a French word which means picture. It is a picture-like scene composed of people against a background. So, ang tableau is created when every actor in a scene stands and plays to represent a specific character. So, itong tableau or still image or picture ay nakakapag-depend ng characters ng actor para mas ma-express nila ang kanilang mga emotions in doing dramas. So, next and the last one is puppets. So, according to Dell, so ayon kay Dell is ang mga puppets ay nakakapag-present ng ideas with simplicity. So, kahit di na-explain or mas ipakita ang mga paiba-ibang scene or costume is mas effective ito. So, itong puppet is it's either controlled by the student or by the actor or act and go with the flow with the of script.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. I'm Asmin M. Darampating from grade 1A, the last reporter of this module 6. So now I'll discuss to my assigned report the types of puppet. Puppet come from different kinds, so these are the most common. Number 1, shadow puppets. Flat black silhouette made from light white cardboard in shown behind a screen. So, shadow puppets means yan yung manika na gawa sa carton. So, number 2, road puppets. Flat cut-out figures stuck to a stick with one or more movable parts and operate from below the stage level by wire, rods, or slender stakes. So, road puppets is yan yung kina-cut out na mga figure na nakadikit sa isang stake at pinapatakbo mula sa ibaba ng antas sa pamamagitan ng wire rods o slender stakes. So, number 3, hand puppets. The puppet's head is operated by the forefinger of the puppeteer, the little finger in thumb being used to animate the puppet hand. So, hand puppets is yan yung ulo ng puppet na pinapatakbo ng hihinturo ng puppeteer. Kung baga, yung maliit na daliri at hinlalaki na ginagamit upang bigyan ng buhay ang hand puppets. So, number 4, glove and finger puppets. So, glove and finger puppets make use of old gloves to which small costume figure are attached. So, glove and finger puppets is yan yung gumagamit ng mga lumang globe kung saan nakakabit ang maliit na naka-costume na figure attached. So, number 5, marionettes. Flexible joint puppets operated by string or wires attached to a crossbar and maneuvered from directly above stage. So, when you see the marionettes, which is, yan yung manika na nababaluktot na pinapatakbo ng mga string o wire na nakakabit sa isang crossbar and maneuvered from directly above stage. So, role-playing is an unrehearsed, unprepared, and spontaneous dramatization of let's pretend situation where assigned participants are observed by their own roles in the situation described by the teachers. So when you see the role-playing unrehearsed is yan yung hindi nasanay, kung baga hindi handa at nagkukunwari sa mga pangyayaring sitwasyon kung saan nasisisip ng kanilang sariling mga tungkulin. So, some forms of dramatic experiences are play pageant, pantomime, tableau puppets, and role-playing. The last 4 ay ang ginagamit sa silid ng classroom dahil sa kanilang pagiging simple at pagiging practical. So, that's all my assigned report.